I know that it's about a teenager or a kid who is being beaten up.
He's been assaulted, and as a result he's lost his sight, and he's dealing with the ramifications of trying to live life, not being able to see anything.
He's completely upheaved his life completely, and he's stuck in this limbo world.
He is left without purpose, and this whole film is about finding that purpose again. Lauren was the one that came up with the idea. She really wanted to come up with something that could really use sound to the best of its ability.
I was going, what would be a really good film that I could do some amazing sound design, because that's what I really love. And I just thought, what about a film about a blind man? To really go into detail, you know, about all the sounds going on around the actor, and then having everyone, I suppose, realise how important sound is.
Listen, H cataract, take 1.
So what was meant to be this really simple 2-day shoot ended up stretching out over almost 2 months.
We went, let's just shoot something in a weekend. Didn't turn out quite as we planned.
There was the incident with the contact lenses, which was interesting.
It's painful. It's very irritating. I don't know if some of the stuff that we got in the pack is to help with that.
How do they feel?
Oh, just irritating. Very irritating.
Yeah.
Just feels quite unnatural.
We had these contact lenses made for him by industry professional optometrists, people who make specialty lenses for film and television. We had heard horror stories about what can happen with contact lenses if they're cheap or not used correctly, so we really wanted to do everything we could to make sure that Tom was as safe as possible.
What happened was one of the contact lenses had a small cut in the middle of it, and while I was wearing it, because there was a small cut, the plastic slowly overlapped. So whenever I closed my eye, it was slowly rubbing up against the cornea.
Just I'm worried with the amount of blinking, because I think my eyes are just compensating for the moisture that isn't getting behind the lens. I don't even know how they work.
Like my nose was dribbling, my eyes were watering, and it was really unpleasant. We finished the scene and decided to go to the local GP, and they said, you've got a cut on your cornea with a possible infection. So I had to go to the ER, and no more shooting for that weekend. So we're having them digitally inserted in post.
He never let on for the whole first day that there was something really wrong with his eyes. He just did his job like an absolute trooper. He would go from having these eyes that were watering, this leaking nose, and then within a split second, we go to roll the cameras, he'd give me the thumbs up, and the next minute he's in the scene. He just became that character in an instant. He just flicked a switch.
But I just saw the rough cut, and it didn't look as bad as I thought, so...
Suffering for your art.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm just setting up all the microphones for C9A, take 1. We've got Lena and Ben, which is Tori and Tom, setting up. And yeah, sound design is really important in this film, obviously, because he's blind and that's all he has to work from. So really going to have a lot of fun with sound design.
But you guys got director's chairs.
Budget cuts.
Hey Tom, could I get you this?
Today on set we're using a Rode NTG2 for booming and Rode VideoMic Pros on all the cameras, as well as a Rode boom pole and a couple other bits and pieces.
I was actually really excited by it, not because of what we could do sound-wise, but by ironically what we could do visually. What would that experience be like if you were to lose your vision? What would it be like navigating the world, and how can we put the audience into that situation? The Canon 24mm tilt shift lens really allows you to isolate a particular part of the frame, or in our case a particular character, and throws everything else out of focus. So that really helps us hone in on Ben's story. All you're focusing on as an audience is what he's experiencing.
I really enjoy supporting independent filmmakers. This one particularly is touching because we're filming it on Mother's Day, and to be at the bedside of a son who's just become blind in the story is really tender and touching, and I hope it all works out well, and I'm proud to be part of it.
This is going to be the most difficult shot of the whole damn film. So we're doing starting in on an ECU of Tom's eyes in like here, and we're slowly pulling back as he's having the memory of what happened to him and waking up in a hospital blind, not knowing what's going on, completely disoriented. So yeah, it's a tricky one, but we'll get there.
So what's for lunch, Lauren?
Sushi! And then there's a couple of people who can't have sushi, so I also have chicken sandwiches. And lots of bananas, which I just bought. They're not perfectly right, but there's like 20 of them, so they'll have to deal. Bags of cookies and lollies.
C is for cookie and cookie is for me.
Because when you're not paying your crew, you need to feed your crew, that's all I'm saying.
There was one particular scene where Ben comes face to face with what he's going through, having lost his vision.
Today we were shooting the breakdown scene. When my character Ben, he just breaks down after realising that his sight hasn't been restored. And I was really fretting about that because I didn't know how I was going to get there emotionally. But the crew was very supportive.
I really like the raw emotion, and I'm actually really amazed our actor just finished that scene. It's so beautiful. They just worked together and they just got such a beautiful scene. And the vase just smashed. Oh my god, we got like 5 cameras on it. It was really, really cool. So I'm really excited to see it all edited together.
I love jumping into deep emotion. I don't find it difficult after 32 years in the business. It's tiring, but it's heartwarming as well.
So tonight we're just doing some Foley for the first scene, which is basically Tom or Ben waking up in hospital and having a nightmare about his accident. So we're doing the beat up, the chase, getting thrown against a dumpster, climbing a wire fence, all those sound effects. Instead of finding them in a library, we're going to make them ourselves. So yeah, here we go.
Action!
Oh, you're playing your little crying princess. Oh, take what then? Come on. Take it. No one's gonna stop us. Who's gonna help you now, huh? Who's gonna help you now?
Guys. You're 2 blokes walking down the street, having a good laugh about some idiot. And then you spot this guy, you're gonna mug him.
Oi, come back here. Look at him. Oi, you! Where do you think you're going? Nowhere to go now, mate.
Why do you want to hit me?
Oh! I'm in the way! Help me out!
Alright, that was really good until the... Wait, ah, it's cold!
Can you put that in there?
You guys are fully retarded.
Okay, cut.
You don't pay him much, but he's not that needy. It's good. Rent a crowd. Rent a crowd.
I'm holding on when I should be letting go. Come on, girl, don't shy away. Enough's enough, it can't take all day. You won't stay all day. The world won't stop for you to start. You felt it once, it can't be that hard.
He finds love. So yeah, it's a story of adversity and overcoming that adversity and learning that within such a dark thing that could happen to you is a gift that comes out of it.